The top stories tonight in Y News. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. leads the contract signing for the portions of North-South Commuter Railway project. The National Bureau of Investigation prepares for criminal complaints against suspended Negros Oriental 3rd District Representative Arnolfo Teves Jr. The Octa Research Group warns that the new Omicron subvariant XBB.1.16 and high heat index in the country may bring more cases of COVID-19. And Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky and Chinese President Xi Jinping speak via phone line for the first time since the war started. Good evening, Philippines and the world. Today is Thursday, the 27th of April, 2023. Join us in the next hour as we deliver today's top stories around the Philippines and in other parts of the world. We are also seen in 1,935 satellite monitoring centers nationwide and via live streaming worldwide through the UNTV News and Rescue social media channels. I am William Theo. First in the news, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. led the contract signing for the portions of North-South Commuter Railway project. The president believes the railway system will not only decongest Metro Manila, but also improve the quality of life of Filipinos. Nel Maribohok reports.
The government and private companies signed Thursday the contracts for portions of the 56-kilometer North-South Commuter Railway or NSCR connecting Malolos, Bulacan with Clark International Airport and Tutuban with Calamba. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. led the ceremonial signing of South Commuter Section Contract Packages S02, which involves the construction of railway tracks and stations along España, Santa Mesa, and Paco, and CPS 03B, which involves building a tunnel linking the NSCR with the Metro Manila Subway project. The President said the projects will not only decongest Metro Manila's main thoroughfares, but will also bring speedier transactions, quality time, and improved quality of life for all.
Imagine the comfort and convenience of traveling via train from Clark International Airport to Calamba in just 2 hours. This is something that I still marvel at, because in my lifetime, we have never seen that.
The chief executive added that the railway system will also spur economic activities in the regions.
The railway will also spur economic activities in the interconnected regions and in all the areas in between. Moreover, it will promote environmental sustainability and public health.
Upon the completion of the project in 2029, project proponents said the NSCR system would accommodate 800,000 passengers every day and could reduce the travel time between Clark International Airport and Calamba City, Laguna from 4 hours to 2 hours. Nel Maribohok, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Suspended Negros Oriental 3rd District Representative Arnolfo Teves Jr. may be formally charged before the Department of Justice or DOJ next week over the killing of Governor Roel Degamo. Dante Amento tells us why.
Department of Justice or DOJ Secretary Crispin Boying Rimulya said the National Bureau of Investigation or NBI is preparing for criminal complaints for multiple murder, for multiple frustrated murder, and for multiple attempted murder against suspended Negros Oriental 3rd District Representative Arnolfo Teves Jr. This is over the killing of Governor Roel Degamo and 8 others in the so-called Pamplona Massacre on March 4, 2023. 17 individuals were also injured in the incident. Rimulya added the complaints will be filed before the DOJ next week.
We're looking at next week as the time for the filing of cases ng NBI dito sa DOJ para padadalahan na natin ng notice si Congressman Teves sa last known address after certification from the from immigration that he left the country and has not returned.
Meanwhile, the DOJ is also eyeing to file terrorism case against Congressman Teves. Secretary Remulla recently disclosed the legislator is the financier of the Terrorism Act that resulted in the demise of Degamo, a high-ranking elected official in the country.
If a person with the rank of governor can get killed in his own home because of forces like this, then who will not be terrorized by such an action?
Dante Amento, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
The Muntinlupa Regional Trial Court Branch 206 has issued a whole departure order, or HDO, against former Bureau of Corrections or Bucor Director General Bantag and former Bucor Security Officer Ricardo Zulueta. The court granted the prosecution's request last April 25, 2023 to prevent Bantag and Zulueta to leave the country until the case against them is terminated. Bantag and Zulueta are principal accused over the murder of broadcaster Percy Lapid and alleged middleman June Villamor. A tracker team will be formed regarding the case of the missing Sabungeros. The Department of Justice Secretary Jesus Crispin Boying Remulla said the team will look or find the whereabouts of the accused who are facing cases before the court. The DOJ and the families of the missing Sabungeros met today, April 27.
Pursuit para dito sa mga missing suspects, the suspects who have not surrendered nor have they shown up. Yun po yung ating hinahanap ngayon.
In other news, the country's weather agency Pag-asa predicts that the temperatures may rise in the coming days. They are not ruling out the possibility of having a heat wave in the Philippines. Ray Pelayo will tell us why.
The highest heat index computed in the country was recorded on May 1, 2022 in Dagupan City, reaching 55 degrees Celsius. Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical and Astronomical Services Administration or Pag-asa Deputy Administrator Dr. Esperanza Cayanan said that this may be experienced again.
Pwedeng mag-50 kung talagang may mga okasyon na moist nga yung atmosphere natin. Yung humidity, yung tinatawag natin, humidity ay pataas. So mas mainit ang pakiramdam natin kapag humid yung atmosphere.
Heat index increases when there is high humidity and temperature.
Kasi yung heat index base dun sa nararamdaman natin. So feels like kahit yung temperature natin, air temperature natin is around 35 lang. Pero sa heat index, pwede maramdaman natin ay 42 dahil doon sa wala nang evaporation na nangyayari sa kapaligiran. So, iba yung pakiramdam natin.
Pag-asa recorded the highest temperature in the history on April 22, 1912 with 42.2 degrees Celsius in Tuguegarao City. In other countries like America and Europe, they experience a heat wave due to several days of having high temperatures. This happens when a high-pressure area traps hot air in an area.
Yung definition ng heat waves by WMO, ito yung 5 araw kung saan ang temperature ay tumataas ng 5 degrees from your normal Tmax or maximum temperature.
Dr. Cayanan said that the Philippines have not yet recorded any occurrence of a heat wave.
So sa atin, wala pa naman kaming nakita or na-observe na tumataas ng ganon katagal, ng 5 araw, at ganon kalaki yung temperature change or tumataas doon sa average ng maximum temperature. So far, wala pa.
Pag-asa warns that if the looming El Nino this year becomes stronger, it might make the temperature hotter next year. Ray Pelayo, UNTV News and Rescue, we serve the people, we give glory to God.
And for our news abroad, Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky and Chinese President Xi Jinping spoke on Wednesday via phone line for the first time since Russia's invasion, achieving a long-standing goal of Kyiv that had been made public for months. Jane Robles details why live. Good evening, Jane.
Good evening, Marvy. Volodymyr Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, said the one-hour phone call was long and meaningful, highlighting the importance of the chance to forge closer relations with Russia's most powerful ally. In an afternoon video address, Zelensky said that there was an opportunity to use China's political power to reinforce the principles and rules that peace should be built upon. By sending special representatives to Ukraine and holding talks with all parties, China will focus on promoting peace talks and making efforts for a ceasefire as quickly as possible. Additionally, a 12-point peace plan that Xi has been promoting since February has been greeted skeptically by the West, but cautiously welcomed by Kiev as a sign of Chinese interest in ending the war. However, French President Emmanuel Macron had pushed Xi to schedule the call with Zelensky and said it was too early to predict if the call will result in a peace agreement. Meanwhile, China's peace offer, according to Western nations, offers no clear path to ending the conflict and might be used by Putin to back a ceasefire that would give his men control of the territory they have captured while they regroup. Back to you, Marvy.
Thank you, Jane, for that live report. We'll share more global stories with you later, but for now, back to you, William.
Thank you, Marvy. For those watching our live streaming on YouTube, please click the subscribe button you see on your screen and ring the bell for notification. You may also follow us on Facebook. Various governments, including the Philippines, are now racing against time to evacuate its citizens from strife-torn Sudan as the 72-hour ceasefire diminishes. Arlene Delgado will tell us why.
The Department of Foreign Affairs, or DFA, reports that the first batch of Filipino evacuees from Sudan has arrived in Egypt. The 51 Filipinos were welcomed by Philippine Ambassador to Egypt, Ezedin Tago. The agency adds 7 more buses are en route to the Argentine border to transport around 350 Filipino evacuees. According to the Presidential Communications Office, 409 Filipinos have been extracted from Khartoum, the capital of Sudan. Aside from the Sudan-Egypt border, some overseas Filipino workers opted to head out of the conflict-stricken country through Port Sudan. One of them is Gina Sanchez, who waited for hours to secure her exit stamp. She was able to board a plane bound for Saudi Arabia with the help of the Philippine consulate in Jeddah.
Kami po ay masaya na ngayon dahil nalalapit na po talaga ang aming pag-uwi. So, thanks God na rin po sa aming paghihintay, sa pagtsatsaga namin po dito na hindi na po kami umuwi para lang mabantayan po namin yung aming stamp. So, dito na po kami natulog.
Department of Migrant Workers Secretary Susan Ople and Undersecretary Hans Kakdak are now in Egypt to assist in the evacuation operations and distribution of assistance to Filipinos. The palace adds Department of Defense Officer in Charge Senior Undersecretary Carlito Galvez Jr. has been in coordination with the DFA for the repositioning of defense attaché from the United Arab Emirates and Israel to help with the evacuation from Cairo, Egypt. The Philippine government placed Sudan in Alert Level 3. Directing the voluntary repatriation or evacuation of Filipinos due to the ongoing political situation in the African country. Alert Level 3 is being raised by the DFA when violent disturbances or external aggression occur in a limited area. Arlene Delgado, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
The Philippine Statistics Authority, or PSA, reports that the digital economy contributed 9.4% to the gross domestic product, or GDP, in 2022. The agency said that the digital economy of the country amounted to 2.08 trillion, which is 11% higher than the 1.87 trillion recorded in 2021. The digital economy composes of digital transactions such as digital and media content, e-commerce, and digital enabling infrastructure. According to the latest report, communication services and professional and business services were the leading contributors in the digital enabling infrastructure category, accounting for 30.7% and 27% of the shares respectively. The Octa Research Group warns that the new Omicron subvariant XBB.1.16 and the high heat index in the country may bring more cases of COVID-19. Meanwhile, private hospitals assure that they are ready for the highly transmissible and immune-evasive XBB.1.16 or the Arcturus variant. Janice Inhente will tell us why.
As the new Omicron subvariant XBB.1.16 or Arcturus variant have been recorded in the country, the Octa Research Group said the National Capital Region's 7-day positivity rate increased to 12.3 on April 15 from 8.1 a week ago. Octa fellow Professor Guido David says that in their latest project, COVID-19 positivity rate in Metro Manila might increase by 20% next month by the presence of XBB.1.16 Omicron subvariant.
Last year, with the 3 successive waves ng BA.5, ng XBB, ng BQ.1, ng 2.75, hindi naman siya lumagpas ng 20%. So, we hope na ganun naman makikita natin ngayon. I expect siguro mga around May, will hit mga almost 20% possible.
Aside from the Arcturus variant, Professor David said that the high heat index, waning immunity, and the decreased compliance with the health protocols contributed to the rise in infection.
Aftershock, but it's multifactorial, and the other factors include yung waning immunity natin sa vaccine, it's a natural immunity, and then increased mobility and decreased compliance with health protocols, and then yun nga, yung subvariant na bago na na-detect na dito sa bansa.
He added that with the expected increase in the number of COVID cases, hospitalizations may tick up by next month by up to 40%.
The new subvariant, itong Arcturus, has a different presentation. So there's a chance na, we might see increased hospitalizations, or there's a chance that things might go differently from our projections.
Meanwhile, private hospitals across the country are ready for a possible COVID-19 surge from the new Omicron subvariant XBB.1.16. Dr. Jose Degamo, president of the Private Hospitals Association of the Philippines Incorporated, or PHAPI, said their preparation is still the same regardless of the subvariant.
Malaki ang chance na talagang tataas, ang number of cases natin. Hindi naman namin inalis yung mga COVID wards. So, ibig sabihin noon, we are still ready to accommodate yung mga COVID patients natin. And just in case na dumami yan, and then we can expand naman kung kailangan padamihin natin ang number of beds na kailangan i-admit.
He said that COVID-19 admissions in the country are still manageable and low as the healthcare utilization remained at low risk. Janice Inhente, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
3 Filipinos were killed while 5 others were injured following a fire incident in a wood food factory in Taiwan. Manila Economic and Cultural Office Chair Silvestre Bello III said the 3 overseas Filipino workers died after fire broke out at the 2nd floor of Lianhua Foods Corporation in Changhua County in central Taiwan at 6 a.m. on Tuesday. Bello said the Taiwanese government and the workers' employer have extended financial and medical assistance to the said victims. Meanwhile, the Philippine government will provide assistance through Overseas Workers Welfare Administration, or OWA, including educational assistance to the children of the deceased. Bello added that the government is ready to assist the repatriation of the victims' remains.
Nakagayak po ang yung pag-uwi saka yung mga nasawi. Pero depende na yan sa kanilang kamag-anak. Kung halimbawa sabihin na yan na lang sa Taiwan living, okay din. Pero pag sinabi na gusto nila dito, ready po yung ating opisina na i-repatriate sila yung bangkay para dito ni-living.
Twin earthquake struck New Zealand's North Island yesterday. Paul Gatchalian details why live. Yes, Paul?
Good evening, Marvy. Over 24,000 people had reported feeling the earthquake on the platform GeoNet after North Island, New Zealand was hit on Wednesday morning at around 10:16 a.m. local time. According to the reports on the website, the intensity of the shaking was severe as the earthquake was measured at a magnitude of 5.9. The site which the earthquake hit was located 5 kilometers off the nearest township, Degamo, where it was felt the most, and was followed by another measuring at a magnitude of 5.4. New Zealand's National Emergency Management Agency released a tweet after the earthquake that stated no tsunami was threatening the country, hoping everyone was okay. Meanwhile, reports of weak and light aftershocks are still being felt a day after the first earthquake hit, occurring along the northern island of New Zealand. Back to you, Marvy.
Thank you, Paul Gatchalian, reporting live from New Zealand. Amid the ongoing conflict in Sudan, the World Health Organization fears the death toll would significantly rise due to disease outbreaks and disruption of essential services. Narisa Dando gives us the details live. Go ahead, Narisa.
Good evening, Marvy. The World Health Organization, or WHO, has reported that 459 people's lives were already lost due to the fighting between the two Sudanese rebel generals and has injured more than 4,000 civilians. WHO Chief Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus feared more deaths would ensue due to the collapse of health services, with only about 16% currently operating in the Sudanese capital.
WHO estimates that 1/4 of the lives lost so far could have been saved with access to basic hemorrhage control. But paramedics, nurses, and doctors are unable to access injured civilians, and civilians are unable to access services.
Meanwhile, the United Nations health body was conducting an extensive risk assessment to identify the dangers brought about by the seizure of a laboratory in Khartoum, which houses pathogens. Mike Ryan, head of the Health Emergencies Program, warns of the public health risk.
When lab workers are forced to leave a laboratory and untrained people enter that laboratory, there are always risks. But the risks are primarily to those individuals, first and foremost, to accidentally expose themselves to the pathogen.
However, Mr. Ryan highlights that the main risk to this, or to those currently in Sudan, is the absence of clean water and poor sanitation. Back to you, Marvy.
Thank you, Narisa, for that live report. And those are the reasons behind the news in other parts of the globe. I am Marvy Delphin, live from Australia. Good evening.
The Metro Manila mayors are set to have a meeting to discuss what steps to undertake for the water conservation. Gladys Tawabi will tell us why.
Metro Manila Council President and San Juan City Mayor Francis Zamora supports the call of Metropolitan Waterworks and Sewerage System, or MWSS, to conserve water amid the looming onset of El Niño in the country. Recently, the MWSS proposed to limit the operation of swimming pools.
So ako po ay magpapatawag ng isang pagpupulong ng Metro Manila Council upang mapag-usapan namin mga mayors kung ano magiging hakbang natin patungkol nga rito.
According to Mayor Zamora, even if he supports the campaign of water conservation, it is also not easy to stop the operations of businesses who uses too much water.
Hindi naman necessarily ibaban natin lahat ng water-related activities, but we will regulate. At titingnan natin ano ba ang mga activities na sa tingin natin talagang masasabi o matuturing natin nagsasayang ng tubig. No? Kinakailangan natin aralin mabuti.
Mayor Zamora said he will meet the mayors in Metro Manila to hear their side and suggestions. He added that they could also pass a resolution to be the basis of the ordinances to be implemented by the local government units in water conservation. Meanwhile, he urged residents in Metro Manila to do their part and start conserving in their respective households. Gladys Tawabi, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency Cordillera, together with Padea Region 3 and Baguio City Police, arrested 2 drug traders after they yielded 57 kilos of dried marijuana leaves worth $6,840,000 in a buy-bust operation at Camp 7, Baguio City on April 26, 2023. Anti-narcotics operatives collared Arnold Antonen and Daryl Collera after they sold 57 pieces of tubular dried marijuana. Also seized from the suspects are cellular phones and a black Toyota Hilux believed to be used in the illegal drug transaction. The duo will face charges for violation of Republic Act 9165 or the Comprehensive Dangerous Drugs Act of 2002. Amid the 90-day extension of SIM card registration, the Department of Information and Communications Technology, or DICT, announced that tech scammers might also increase in the country. Bernadette Tinoy will tell us why.
The Department of Information and Communications Technology, or DICT, announced the possible increase of tech scammers amid the extension of SIM card registration. DICT Secretary Ivan John Uy advised the public to block the numbers that cover bank companies with a URL.
Many of the scammers saw an opportunity now because people are rushing to register. They're now increasing again tech scams by posing as your bank and telling them they're so-and-so bank and that you need, because of the SIM card registration, you need to update your SIM numbers, and that you need to register with them again and provide them with all those details.
Angela Delfino encountered this type of scam and even went to the bank office to confirm if it's legitimate or not.
So nakakatanggap kami ng SMS from BDO Bank. Kaya lang nagtataka kasi kami, yung number kasi niya is yung regular po na number. Pag kiniklik po yung link na yon, looks like real BDO account or real BDO website. Pero pagtingin sa URL, hindi po siya talaga from BDO. Tapos ang nakalagay doon po sa SMS, your account is on hold. You have to update some information. Kinonfirm nila na wala po talaga silang sinend na SMS alert na kailangang i-update po yung account.
Jaime Mendigorin also countered similar case, and the scammer even called him stating his full name and even his credit card number. The scammer introduced itself as part of the bank companies, saying he won a total of 4,600 points and verifying his information.
Pagtawag sa akin, full name ko yung binanggit pati yung middle name ko na buo binanggit pati yung junior. Kaya ang sabi sa akin, meron kang mga points na hindi mo nagamit dahil naka-online banking ka worth of 4,600. Napakagaling nila makipag-usap Kung ano yung process sa bangko, ganun din sila kung paano sila mag-entertain.
Meanwhile, DICT had not yet released their official statement regarding the matter. Jaime and Angela then reminds the public to block the unknown numbers even if it contain bank advisories.
So ingat lang po. Lagi lang po tayong aware kasi lagi naman tayong nire-remind ng bangko na kahit wala silang karapatang kumuha ng information natin, lalong-lalo na yung OTP.
Huwag po kayong padadala dun sa yung parang bugso ba, yung merong element of rush na kailangang i-update mo kaagad, huwag po maniniwala agad sa ganun.
Bernadette Tinoy, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Some mayors in Oriental Mindoro support the Department of Justice's plan to file a case against the company of the sunken MT Princess Empress that caused the oil spill in Oriental Mindoro. Yesterday, Justice Secretary Crispin Remulla said that they only gave a 10-day deadline to the PNI Club, the insurance company of the sunken ship, to submit its concrete plan for removing the remaining oil from the motor tanker. For Pola Mayor Jennifer Cruz, they found an ally because they were the first to file a complaint against the owner of the sunken motor tanker. According to the president of the League of Mayors in Oriental Mindoro, Doc Elgin Malaluan of the town of Bongabong, they prioritize a settlement for the compensation of their kababayans whose livelihood have been damaged. However, he said they supported this step by the DOJ. As for the environmental group Oceana, this step by the government is a welcome development.
Maganda yun kasi alam mo, nagkaroon tayo ng kakampi at yan naman talaga matagal na natin magkaroon tayo ng kalinawan na dapat mapailan talaga ng case kung sino yung tao na dapat managot. At yun ang ginagawa ng DOJ at ng NBI. So this is good for us as na unang nag-file ng case against them sa may-ari and syempre dun sa writ of kalikasan, ayan ay discretion naman ng DOJ.
Tube wells and deep wells in the towns of Pola and Nauhan in Oriental Mindoro are now safe to drink. The latest water quality test conducted by the Department of Health on 29 sample sites from the two towns was negative for benzene. The provincial government of Oriental Mindoro has notified the Office of Civil Defense, Armed Forces of the Philippines, and MMDA that they can take back the filtration machines that were lent to the province. According to Governor Humerlito Dolor, they are now only waiting for the results of the water test on all the water utility providers. Meanwhile, the fishing ban will still remain in Oriental Mindoro. In the latest results given by BFAR yesterday, higher levels of oil and grease were found in the samples taken. After 7 days, the BFAR will repeat the water quality test to see if the oil and grease level has indeed lowered.
Meron pa ring presensya ng benzopyrene doon sa lahat ng fish samples, lahat na nakuha sa buong stretch ng Oriental Mindoro. Dahil doon, kinalulungkot ko pong sabihin sa ating mga mamamayan na ang rekomendasyon ng BFAR ay patuloy pong ipatupad ang fishing ban natin.
The Land Transportation Office clarifies the standard allowing temporary and improvised license plates amidst the looming shortage of supply. JP Nunez will tell us why.
The LTO reiterated that makeshift license plates are prohibited by law. However, there are exemptions that may allow temporary and improvised license plates for motor vehicles and motorcycles.
Bawal po mag-print ng sariling plaka. Bawal po gumawa ng sariling plaka.
LTO Chief Assistant Secretary J.R. Tugade clarified the guidelines. Since 2017, a prevailing memorandum circular has allowed temporary license plates to be issued by the CASA or dealer from whom the motor vehicle or motorcycle was purchased. For those who are newly registered and waiting for the official license plate from the LTO, they may use a temporary license plate. However, it should be made of reflective sturdy materials, use Arial black font, and follow the standard design and layout. The memorandum states that temporary plates must contain the conduction sticker for vehicles and file number for motorcycles. Meanwhile, only those with dilapidated, lost, or stolen plates are allowed to use improvised license plates. However, they must first report to the LTO to get authorization before using an improvised plate. The authorization letter, along with the ORCR, must be presented to traffic law enforcers when using improvised license plates.
Kailangan pong pumunta kayo sa LTO office at humingi po kayo ng authorization to use improvised plate. Pag binigyan na po kayo ng authorization to use an improvised plate, pwede po kayo ngayon maggawa ng plaka. Improvised for the time being.
According to the LTO, using unauthorized license plates may result in apprehension with a fine of 5,000 pesos. The LTO is still positive that they can fill the 80% backlog of license plates until the end of 2023, despite the looming shortage by the middle of the year. JP Nunez, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The public can now view the colorful and beautiful mural paintings at the Quezon City Memorial Circle as it opened to the public on Wednesday, April 26, 2023. The project was led by the Quezon City Government and Centro Artista Foundation, which involved talented and disabled students who joined in commemoration of Earth Day in April. Paintings of different animals, plants, and flowers can be found here, such as the Negros Bleeding Heart Pigeon, Philippine Eagle, Philippine Pangolin, Philippine Crocodile, Visayan Spotted Deer, Sampaguita, Waling-Waling, and others. According to Quezon City Mayor Joy Belmonte, this is one of the projects for the city's large Green City Rehabilitation Program.
Well, bukod sa mural na ito na nagpapahiwatig ng isang napakagandang mensahe na meron tayong tungkulin bilang mga mamamayan na pangalagaan ng ating klima, dito yung Quezon Memorial Circle itself will be undergoing a massive rehabilitation program, no? Sa taong ito.
Our Kasangbahay, as the world faces these trying times amid the pandemic caused by coronavirus, we are inviting everyone to join the global prayer for humanity from Monday to Friday, 9:30 p.m. Philippine time through the social media accounts of Members Church of God International. And before we close, we will leave you with a word giving glory to God from the book of 1 John chapter 2 verse 1. It says, "My little children, these things write I unto you, that ye sin not, and if any man sin, we have an advocate with the Father, Jesus Christ, the righteous." And those are the reasons behind the news, April 27, 2023, reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. And because we need to know, we will always ask why. I am William Theo. We serve the people. We give glory to God.